My name is Robert Biederman. I'm a cardiologist at Allegheny General in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I am working in the cardiac MRI laboratory. I'm the director of that, and I've just presented the International Society of Academy of Cardiology sessions held here in Boston. Had a wonderful time here, and my topic is sort of a unique one. It's looking at patients who have indications to go into the MRI scanner that unfortunately have MRIs, have pacemakers and defibrillators, and as we know, there's a lot of data suggesting that those patients shouldn't go in. We and a number of others, about 17 or 18 centers in the country, just published a paper last year in New England Journal entitled the MAGNASAFE trial, which showed that in fact these patients could in fact undergo MRIs using a very careful, safe approach. And this is a natural extrapolation of that data. And the point being is that we've got lots of data that's been accumulated about the science and safety of imaging patients with devices in the scanner. But our next question was, does it matter? So what is the clinical implications, and is there an added value for those patients? So we wanted to look above and beyond safety and find out whether this was demonstrating to be beneficial for patients. We looked at 500 serial patients. We divvied them up into neurosurgical patients, A, B, cardiac patients, and orthopedic patients. And we had a series of 4 questions that we asked them. And essentially they were questions: does it change the diagnosis? Is there an impact on additive information that leads to a change in diagnosis? Did you simply just confirm the diagnosis, or were there any other aspects, or did it have no impact on the patients? When we looked at the neurosurgical patients, about 60% of those patients had a major change in their diagnosis, and of that, about 57%, meaning almost all of those patients, as you might imagine, then that translated into some clinical change. And there was about two-thirds of those patients that in general had a benefit, and about 1/3 it simply confirmed that in fact, even though there may have been some clinical equivocality about whether those patients needed an MRI scan because the diagnosis wasn't certain, we in fact confirmed that diagnosis, and thus there was little change. We did about 100 cardiac cases, which incidentally are the patients in whom was specifically showed to be, in the MAGNASAFE trial, we said we were excluding those patients, and we showed that of those 100 patients, about half of those patients, we changed the diagnosis, and that, as a cardiologist, had a tremendous effect on those patients' outcomes. And about 50% of the time, the cardiologist's indication was acceptable and no change, other than simply to reinforce that. And then about 50 patients or so had orthopedic cases, and virtually all of those patients, I think it was 86% of those patients, had a major change in their diagnosis, and that naturally lent itself towards a change in the patient care. So all together, about 2/3, just about 70% of those patients that went to the MRI scanner had a dramatic change in their patient diagnosis, which then, as you might imagine, led to a major change in their outcomes because there was a change in their patient management. So this adds another piece of the data to saying that yes, it's safe, and we're getting a sense that it is safe. In fact, we and others have sort of redundantly demonstrated that it's been safe. But now this is another way to sort of drive the growth of these patients across the country, that just because it's safe, should we do it? The answer for that is now yes. So very interesting study, and I think we're continuing. We've done now over 700 of these patients with the exact same thing, and hopefully more to come in this regard. Thanks.
There you go. Thank you very much.
All righty.